podcast goes out super early in the morning before noon, New York time. There's multiple news outlets talking about it. So that was kind of funny experience for both of us to see that happen.
Welcome to Cocktails and Gossip, the podcast where we drink cocktails, but you better believe we're going to spill the tea. We chat reality TV, celebrity blinds, and the hottest tea from BravoandCocktails.com. And as always, it's all alleged and just for fun. We do not verify our blinds. I'm B.
And I'm Amanda. Let's get into this week's tea.
What's up, sloths?
Oh my gosh. Would anybody choose anything besides sloth? I don't know. And if you guys haven't heard the combo from last week, you have to listen to last week's combo.
That was so funny. Just kidding. What's up, cocktailers?
What's up? Okay, what a week, cocktailers. So let's start out with the official news that Ramona is out.
I mean, cocktailers knew this. I'm only half kidding, but obviously it wasn't confirmed. But we remember this summer, somebody sent us info that they were hanging out with Ramona in July in Ibiza, and Ramona had shared with them that she wasn't asked back. At that time, she told them she was totally fine with it. It was her time to focus on her friends and her wonderful life, and she seemed at peace with the decision. We also, more recently, heard her on a pod. I'll try to figure out whose, or in an interview. Maybe it was one of those interviews where she called Legacy a trash show, or no, a loser show. She said it was a loser show. So like, we're not shocked. People will miss her.
Supposed to be her friends. Jeez. Gosh.
But people will miss her. And it's funny because Andy had a good point. He's like, before we made the announcement, it was get rid of her. We're sick of her, blah, 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 blah. And the second we announce that she's not going to be on, it's what's Legacy without Ramona? He's like, you just can't please people. So
true.
I have to say, and I even watching back like old seasons, she was always awkward for me. And I'm not discounting that she had a lot of funny moments, but I never really, I don't know, icon energy. I don't know. In the early days, maybe. Avery's also unemployed from Cameo, which sending love to all our tech friends. I mean, so many layoffs across Instagram and Twitter and, all the adjacents, Cameo and everything. And, just, hoping that everybody lands on their feet. I know everybody will. You guys are incredibly talented. I could never dream to do the work that you guys do. I don't have the skill set. And I just think it stinks. It's bad stuff.
Yeah.
But so, Avery's laid off. She attempted a reel or a TikTok about like being relatable. And I have to say, like, I find her to be one of the most unrelatable people in the world. You have wealthy parents who clearly have and can and would subsidize your lifestyle. It is not relatable to your average 20-something or 30-something tech professional who is laid off with a rent in Manhattan looming over them and without that support, that financial support system that she has. So like, you never want to hear anybody getting laid off, but come on.
No.
You're not relatable.
No. Not relatable. Agreed. And it's so funny what Andy says, because I totally feel that way. I'm like, like Ramona was definitely becoming an issue, but I am going to miss her because the best way, yes, it's kind of uncomfortable, but like, Curb Your Enthusiasm uncomfortable, right? Like you're laughing because it's like so awkward. Like she did a post the other day, because I do still follow her, because she is so like cringy awkward. It's always entertaining what she's doing, and it's been her birthday week, which she loves to talk about a lot. And she was talking, it was a little montage of her like Ramona-isms, and I was like, that kind of stuff is actually so funny. And production jumped right on that from the beginning. And I think it kind of helped shape some of the kind of funny moments in Roni and some of the other housewife moments. So I think we definitely have Ramona in large part to thank for that. So I don't know. I think I think Ramona needs to go away for a while, but I don't think I would hate it if we maybe saw her come back and maybe she, you know, had a fresh perspective on some things, but still brought that kind of uncomfortable, like, funny energy.
And I think as in a general way, change is hard, right? And for so
Yeah.
many of us fans, like of television shows, right? So we're Bravo fans. Like, even if you don't love a housewife, they're on it for so long, there's a comfort in that stability that they'll be there, right? So I
Yeah.
think there's an element of that. I did hear too, which is an exclusive because I haven't posted it. I did hear too that she was supposed to and slated to, they were hoping to do some cameos and pop in. And now that she's running around slamming, I wonder where that stands, you know? But I feel like Bravo expects that of Ramona. I actually just got an email and it was sent me a couple of links to stuff. Fans are very unhappy about Kelly Ben Simone.
Oh, about her coming back?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, did we discuss that real estate? We did because I remember you being like, I don't even know if that's legit on MLS. I don't know. She's got that kooky energy. I do hear people's point that like she's not legacy in the way that Ramona is. But guys, they don't want, like, Bethany doesn't want to come back. And I think that they're trying to move away from Ramona because of the controversy. So, people are like, oh, it should be Aviva. Okay. And then if they did Aviva, to Andy's point, the other half would be like, Aviva? Why is she back? She's not a
Yeah.
legacy. So you kind of like, Jill is legacy.
Yes,
Sonia is
for sure.
legacy. Luann, obviously. I'm not mad at Kelly. I think she'll give us funny takes.
Yeah, I mean, she isn't somebody that I, like, would pass my favorite housewife test. Like, I don't think I would ever wanna go and share a meal with her, or definitely probably not even a drink. But I think she could be interesting, and I think she's kooky enough. I don't think she's gonna be the, like, go along to get along, to steal a Salt Lake City term, person. So, I think that'll make it interesting. I don't know. I was actually reading some of the cocktailer comments on the website today, and somebody said, "What are you doing, Bravo? You have these iconic shows that you're walking away from." Because, there's that rumor about Married to Medicine, and then, Roni. God knows what's been going on with that, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And they're like, why are we putting budget into all these other new shows and all these other things? But there has to be something. There's gonna be a next amazing show that catches
Right.
on, and they have to keep trying, right? But I do
I
agree
just want
too.
to
I'm like,
note the Married to Medicine thing was an email. So, like, I don't know the accuracy of that. That could be
yeah, it's
fabricated.
just a
Sometimes when
rumor.
things are so detailed, I find it hard to believe it's fabricated because, like, who would get that creative? But hey, I don't know what the motive would be.
Like
Like,
the like the seven deadly sins.
oh, brother. I can't.
Oh my god. Okay, so I mean, and Avery, good luck to you. I hope you find something else. Let's just, focus, put your energy maybe into that and not into telling other 20-year-olds that it's okay. So this week, your weekend actually, you got a few emails and then news from a source that a New York housewife has been fired. And I want to say, by the way, after sharing this on the website, almost immediately got an email saying, "That's not true. Everything's great. Everyone loves each other. It's all going awesome," which I thought was very funny. I texted you about that. I'm like, somebody with a vested interest is watching, or maybe the person hadn't been fired yet. Who knows? But it is turned into quite the drama. I think you might be a little tired from this week. I don't ever really remember seeing something like that happen where somebody doesn't work out before the show's even aired, and there's this much discussion about it because most people don't know her yet 'cause, they haven't been on our TV.
So I knew that email that we got was bogus about everything being fine because
Yeah.
the word that she was fired was from a very trusted source. So Sunday early afternoon, and I had a couple of emails that we posted before that. So I knew there was trouble,
Mhm.
but like I wasn't exactly sure where, like who, you know what I mean? So
Right.
Sunday early afternoon, I hear from my source that Lizzie was fired. A few hours before that, I had posted It said Roni problems. So apparently the new Roni might be over before it starts. One of the wives made some comments to a co-star. Production was concerned. They had that wife call the co-star to talk about it. Well, instead of apologizing, the wife doubled down and it got worse. The co-star's husband is furious with that wife. Now we wait and see what happens. So, like, honestly, guys, all of these people, they're new to you, they're new to me. I mean, I don't know them. I can barely keep their names straight. So, apparently, one of the ladies said something offensive, and production stepped in, had the wife call to smooth it over. The opposite happened. So, at this point, I post this, and I don't know who it is. And some eagle-eyed cocktailers let me know that Lizzie and Bryn were the only housewives not following each other. So that narrowed it down. Then I get another email. I just heard it's messy or it's about to get real messy. Stuff is brewing and about to explode. Your previous email is accurate. So now I'm like, what the heck's like who, what, when, where, why? At this point, I don't know who it is. And then I get mid-afternoon, my source is like, B, your people are fast because I didn't even get a chance to let you know that Lizzie was fired. Mind you, at this point, nobody was talking about this. I know it exploded, but we posted it. And it was one of those things where everyone was like, oh, is this one of Bravo and Cocktail's far-fetched things like the sloth? No, wasn't one of those far-fetched things, guys. So then this is Sunday. Dead silence Monday. Tuesday, Tamara, Two Teas in a Pod comes out. And on the pod, she alluded to someone from Roni being fired. Okay? Now, oh, and then I personally had a second source confirm. So now this is 3 sources. By Wednesday, it's confirmed by Lizzie. She says she quit due to anti-Semitism. There were a lot of rumors swirling. So she's saying she's quit. The sources are saying she was fired. I will say Bravo made a statement saying they mutually reached a conclusion. We know that Bravo lets their talent announce their departure. We had just seen it a couple days earlier with Ramona. Even if they're fired, they allow it to frame it in whatever way they want. I think you pointed out that, like, Teddi was the only one to ever really admit, like, I wasn't asked back. So there's more to this story, right? Because they didn't allow her to just run with this, I decided to be let go. They
Yeah.
weighed in and said, we had a say in her not continuing, right? I will not speak on the sensitive details. And a lot of people keep DMing me. And if you guys want, I saw an account post it today. It's swirling. I was not there. I find all forms of anti-Semitism, bigotry, racism deplorable. I will not shine a light on it. I think that there's no place in this world for it. I'm a New Yorker myself, and the fact that it happened in my city is, it's upsetting to me. So
If
that's
it's
where I'm
true.
at. I don't know who said what and what said what. We know that they
Right.
reached a conclusion that she shouldn't continue. So that's all we know for sure. I am not interested in belaboring a point. I hope that none of it's true. I mean, but obviously she says she did experience anti-Semitism. So that part, it has to be true from her point of view. It's just, guys, it's about to be 2023. Like I always say, I'm an equal opportunity hater. If I dislike you, it's got nothing to do with anything other than the fact that you're an asshole. So that's that on that. And like, yeah, right? Like who dislikes people because of what they look like or what God they believe in? Like that's so small-minded and stupid.
Agreed. Completely agree. There's no room for any of that in anything I'm interested in. That's for sure. It's so interesting on the topic of Lizzie that we were the ones to originally break that she was cast on Roni, and we actually broke it here on the podcast, which the cocktailers know. Like that one was a funny one because literally, I mean, podcast goes out super early in the morning before noon, New York time. There's multiple news outlets talking about it. So that was kind of funny experience for both of us to see that happen. We don't reveal our sources. We don't reveal, and so many of the emails we get are anonymous. We won't go into how we knew about that one. And then the website, Bravo and Cocktails, broke that she was fired. So interesting little life cycle on that one. That I don't think I need to say anything else than what you said because I agree with you about, no room for any of that racism, anti-Semitism, bigotry. But I guess kind of in the shade department, that post you shared of, is it Uba? Is that how you say her name?
Yes, Uba.
Okay, so Uba, she's sharing, it's like a her point of view shot. She's showing this like beautiful like plate of sushi and she's tagged this restaurant, but you can hear two women fighting in the background. I mean, the absolute shade of her. I'm like, I think we're gonna love her.
We're
I feel
ready.
very hopeful about the reboot for her to do something
One of
like
the
that.
women I know was Erin because somebody told me it was Erin. I'll leave that there. But who it's worth noting, Erin is also Jewish and she is also Israeli.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the other one is, it sounds like Lizzie, but obviously it
No,
hasn't
Lizzie
been
wasn't
confirmed.
there.
Oh, she
No,
wasn't there.
so they're in the Hamptons. You know what? That's funny you say that, Amanda, because
Oh,
a
okay.
follower said that, and I still have the video on my phone. I could send it to you. She was not there. This was real time. They were filming, and they are out in the Hamptons.
Got it.
So it was
I see.
Erin and somebody. I think they were speaking about the Lizzie situation, but it was not Lizzie.
Got it. Well, you know, even before Lizzie confirmed, anybody confirmed that it was true that she was leaving, the second that Lizzie posted that like inspirational quote on her stories, was like, "Oh, there's your confirmation." I
Yep.
always say this, like, celebrities, real people, like, it's always the telltale sign that some real shit is going down in someone's personal life when they post these very like optimistic self-help quotes on Instagram. I know that's so cynical of me, but it's
First of
so
all, I
true.
love me a self-help quote. And I always get made fun of because like I'll have a few glasses of wine and like start posting them and cocktailers are always like, "Oh God, here she goes." I don't care. I make no apologies for who I am.
No, I am telling you, if somebody doesn't ever post that stuff and then out of the blue post it, it's like, oh, shit is going down. Like, it's
Well, when I
prove me
post them,
wrong.
I'm in my feelings about something. I'm agreeing with what you're saying,
I
but like
understand, but you do it. You have a couple of glasses of prosecco every once in a while. Let's just say that. And like, this is something that you do, you know, on
wait,
a
wait, I
frequent
don't even know if
basis.
you saw this one, but somebody commented the next day I saw it, and somebody commented, "Did you get this from Joe Gorga?" I wrote, "The same boiling water that softens the potato hardens the egg. It's about
I
what you're
love
made
that
of,
one.
not the circumstances." And I
Yeah.
got played out. Someone goes, "Okay, Joe Gorga."
I
Which, like,
loved that one though. I
you know
like
what?
your inspirational quotes, and we still have never found Louis's inspirational quote Instagram. I would be very interested. I'm just saying, when somebody never posts stuff like that, and then all of a sudden does, I'm like, oh, there you go. Okay, so then in other Bravo and Cocktails news this week, someone sent us the pictures of Madison's legal wedding ceremony. So we know she's getting married in Mexico this weekend. And when you posted, everyone was saying, including her own publicist, that
Mhm.
it was just a photo shoot.
That it was just a photo shoot. And thank you to our Charleston cocktailers. They always get me the good stuff. So I open up my DMs, I see the picture, I immediately just screenshot it, throw my watermark on it, and I'm like, congratulations. And then people are like, what are you talking about first? She accidentally put 2023, which she fixed. She's getting married on the 19th in Mexico. And I'm like, okay, guys, but she is standing at an altar with a minister and her fiance. This must be the legal ceremony. No, her son's not there. It's not the legal ceremony. And honestly, all I had was the picture. The person didn't write back when I asked because I don't think the person knew. But I
Hmm.
still just felt like, how could it be a photo shoot? Yes, she did show her very cute photos, by the way, like by this like antique car and these beautiful. But why would you be at an altar? I mean, yes, Madison's thirsty, but an actual minister. So a cocktailer messages me, and she was on the side of "You're wrong, B. It was just a photo shoot." Next day, I stand corrected. She is getting married in Mexico, and I looked up the register's information, and she was legally married yesterday by, I blocked the person's name out, who did an online course to marry them before their actual wedding ceremony in Mexico. Getting married in Mexico because it was their first trip as a couple. So many people in this town were saying this and that yesterday, and a lot of people were confused as hell. Even Vanita was confused. I don't know. Sometimes things are as simple as they seem, and I kind of run Bravo and Cocktails by that mantra. Like a lot of it is what you see is what you get.
Well, I mean, first of all, I'm sorry. Madison is not gonna get married if she's got to do a legal wedding. She's not gonna do it inside where nobody can see and possibly take a picture. Of course, she's gonna do it outside so that there is an opportunity to get some press about it. But again, you got to like the Charleston cocktailers are like extra on it. They have eagle eyes and quick fingers when it comes to the send button. So we love it. So then picking up from last week's pod, we have some more summer house drama that's kind of continuing with this whole Amanda and Lindsay saga, starting when Amanda and Paige were on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy asked them who isn't nice to fans and asked Amanda if it was Lindsay. So it was Andy who suggested it, but Amanda did kind of confirm it. Now, Lindsay this week went on Katie Maloney from Vanderpump Rules podcast and literally went off. So I know you listened to it. I have not had a chance to, but so from, just reading about it, Lindsay said there was drama because Carl and Kyle over the summer had been fighting over something and it was not resolved coming out of the summer. And we talked about this on the pod like way early, like before they started filming. So this would have been back in like June. And then a source had told us, and we had posted that there had been close issues between close friends. But as we discussed at the time, it could have really been anybody. We thought, is it Paige and Amanda? Is it Danielle and Lindsay? So didn't we also share, and this is one where my memory sometimes gets me, that some of this drama started with Kyle and Carl when Lindsay found out that Carl's stake in the company is lower than she thought, and then that caused issues with Carl and Kyle?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
And again, that's rumored. That was an email
Yeah.
that we got. So I don't know the validity of it, but there was
everything we say
them.
is,
what
guys.
The issue was, I don't know.
Yeah.
But so Lindsay goes on Katie's pod. She goes on this rant and she says, and like a lot of followers were messaging me like, what? She goes on this rant and she says she's the only one on the cast that leave her house. So she's like, I shop in supermarkets. I take exercise classes 5 times a week. I'm out for dinner. I'm out for drinks. I'm out. I leave my house 100 times more for every one time they leave their house. She specifically says Amanda. So I guess she's saying they're homebodies. I'm okay. So, but she's not necessarily denying. I think her point was, I am exposed to fans so much more that for me to have a couple of situations where maybe I'm not in a good mood isn't as big a deal, because you go out a couple times a week and it's for events and you're prepped and you're right. Like you're not caught off guard because you're not, which I mean, doesn't everybody go get a cup of coffee? I guess you can Uber Eats everything these days. So maybe that's it. My opinion, I think the two of them need to really sit down and just talk this out. I don't think this is something so serious they can't move past. They work with Lindsay's fiance, Carl, and I mean, these names are too similar.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyle and Amanda work with Carl, and peace needs to be brokered. Carl's usually the peacemaker. Also Danielle. Obviously, Danielle isn't interested because of her beef with Lindsay. And Carl's in the middle here, so I'm voting for Maya to work this out. I think she's level-headed. I think she's friends with both. And I just think that they need to put this behind them. Lindsay is in public relations, and it begs the question how much of this is her wanting to keep it going because it's good to have your name in the press.
Yeah. I clearly, if she was interested in squashing the beef and not getting any mileage out of it, then she would have, but she doesn't seem to roll that way. She definitely seems to be one of the kind of people, like if you're ever in a fight with her, like you have to be the one to make the first move, or like, things might not ever happen, I think, but it could be a calculated move too.
The other thing she did say on the pod, though, is that, like, on the outside, you could say this is kind of a good thing to focus on because it's frivolous, but she actually was like, this is very bad for my brand. Like, my brand is being a public figure and being out at events. And like, if the fans don't like me, if the fans think I'm not cool, like, I suffer because people don't want to do endorsements with me and people don't think that I can sell stuff. And that's what I do. So I do see where she's coming from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I do see where she's coming from. Like, if people don't want to see her because they think that she doesn't appreciate her fan base, that's really not a good look.
Yeah. Well, I mean, imagine you're trying to get to your yoga class and somebody is like stopping you on the street and you're already running late, right? Like that would be a situation where it's like it's hard to be always be so nice because then you're going to, certain workout classes if you're not in there by like they close the door and you can't get in and you paid for it. So I
Right.
understand what
And we
she's
both
saying.
said from the beginning, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with hearing that somebody's abrupt sometimes. I mean,
Yeah.
it's life. If you're getting a
Yeah.
cup of coffee and you haven't, done your makeup, maybe you don't want to take a picture with a fan,
I
right?
know. I just think the way that she said it by saying like for every 100 times or every one time Amanda leaves the apartment, I leave 100. I know what Lindsay was trying to say, but it made it sound like she's admitting that she's being a shithead to fans. Like
Yeah, kind of.
I don't know. And
Or
I
maybe
agree
she's
with
just being
you.
honest. I mean, like, maybe she's just being
Yeah.
honest. And she's like, you know what? Yeah, maybe I'm caught off guard and maybe I can be abrupt. But guess what? On an average day, I'm in a grocery store, I'm in a nail salon, I'm in a workout class. So there's like so many times a day I'm stopped, and sometimes I'm just not in the mood. And I
Yeah.
appreciate honesty. So,
It's interesting because most celebrities will never say that. And I think it's because they don't want to sound like poor little old me or like poor victim, but it would be helpful if, I don't know, like maybe if more celebrities would, because I always think about this, because I always think about like, try to always have patience with people when they're being rude, because you never know, right? If they're having a bad day or did they just get some bad personal news or whatever. But everyone's got their days where they like can't handle it one more second that the person in front of them at the stoplight has been looking at their phone and you're about to miss the green light, right?
mm,
And sometimes you kind of lose it. But
you
it's interesting
snap.
that celebrities never talk about that. And that would be such a relatable thing if you're like, like Barry's boot camp closes the doors if I'm not in there on time. And so I can't stop and take a picture with everybody, or else I will be booking all these classes that I just never can make it to. Right. And so that would be a really just honest way to put it. I don't know. But I agree with you. I think Maya needs to go in there. I think business partnerships can be hard enough without outside drama from girlfriends, wives, fiancés. I think,
Right.
peace should be negotiated here. So, Maya, why don't you see if Camp David is available or maybe the Watch What Happens Live Clubhouse and just like get it done there and do it publicly and end it, right?
I like that.
Okay, so we touched a little bit on the Girardi lawsuit last week because we had heard the CFO was arrested for wire fraud. Now, our friends at Face Reality 16 and Bravo Bravo Ducking Bravo have been deep diving, and there's a lot. So let's talk through all of this. Do you want to read this stuff or do you want me to?
Sure, I can read it.
Go for it.
So our friends were deep diving and we're trying to like make heads or tails of it. So this is from Law 360. I guess that's like a legal brief. Title is Girardi paid for house now owned by Los Angeles FBI head. The new head of FBI's Los Angeles office, the same office behind the arrest of Girardi Keese's CFO this month, owns a $1.2 million home that was paid for by the scandal plagued law firm's Tom Girardi. So an investigation found this. The FBI Assistant Director, Donald Away, or Alway, whatever, owns half of a home worth more than 1.2 million in the wealthy beach city of Carmel by the Sea, California.
Hold on a second. I got to stop you right there. I don't even believe for a second. Carmel is one of the most expensive. Carmel by the Sea, specifically, that little piece of it is one of the most expensive places to buy real estate. I would be shocked if it's only 1.2 million, I'm but proceed.
Again, with all these connections, maybe there's also a connection with the person who values property, so the taxes are lower.
I don't know
But we have
why I
no
didn't
proof of
see that
that.
before. Carmel by the Sea, like, if you've ever been there, that's crazy that this guy, a guy who works for the FBI, has a house there.
Okay,
Okay.
so so maybe we should look into that next. Court documents show that Girardi paid the mortgage for the home on behalf of Alway's mother, Michelle Alway, who was Girardi's longtime personal secretary and administrator. Since moving from FBI headquarters to his new role in LA on August 29th, 2022, Alway has not been involved in investigation, which largely predates his time at the LA division, an FBI spokesperson said in an emailed statement on Tuesday. This is all very recent, guys. This is all happening as we're talking. Attorney's office in the Central District of California and the special agent in charge is Brian Gillooly. The FBI recently...
Gillooly, yeah.
Gillooly. It reminds me of Tanya Harding's husband who hit Nancy Kerrigan.
Yes, totally.
The FBI recently made what appears to be the first criminal arrest in the Girardi Keese scandal. Agents arrested the law firm's CFO, Christopher Kamen, in Baltimore on November 5th after he arrived on a flight from the Bahamas. Financial records produced in Girardi's second divorce showed Girardi made $131,000 in mortgage payments on Michelle Alway's behalf between September 1993 and May 1998. During the same period, the law firm paid Michelle Alway more than $212,000 in salary. However, Michelle left the firm in 1985 due to chronic illness, but she still collected this salary. So to highlight, this woman stopped working in 1985, but from 93 through 98, she received $221,000 as a secretary, okay? So you're going back 20 years. Was it 30 years? Whatever. And by today's standards, no, 20 years. That's more than most attorneys would be making at that time, right? So super fishy. Then...
And he was paying the mortgage. So she was making that much money and he was paying her mortgage.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
So this woman, Michelle Alway, handled communication, firm finances, but then left when she became ill in 1985. Okay. And he's paying her in 1993. Okay. So she couldn't be reached for comment. I can't imagine why. Prior to joining the FBI, Mr. Alway, so this is the secretary's son, was a deputy sheriff in LA County. He earned a bachelor's degree from University of Southern California, a master's degree from California State, and from the Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Okay, so this is a lot. I want to highlight the main points right now are the new head of the FBI's office in Los Angeles investigating Girardi Keese co-owns a $1.2 million house that Tom Girardi paid for. The deed was originally in one of Tom's partners at the firm's name. It was signed over in 2021 to Michelle and Donald. The FBI says he was not involved in the federal criminal investigation into the members of the firm. Okay, so we're straight on that, right?
Yeah.
Now, the FBI's Los Angeles field office, which is leading the high-profile investigation into the rampant corruption at Tom Girardi's now-defunct law firm, is refusing to answer questions about the relationship among the top agency's top local official, his mother, and the disgraced legal legend. Donald Alway, the assistant director in charge of the field office, is the son of Girardi's former girlfriend and secretary. His mother received hundreds of thousands of dollars from Girardi and his law firm during the mid-90s, according to court documents. The timing and duration of the relationship between Michelle Alway and Girardi is unclear. She was identified as a former girlfriend in a forensic accountant's report. in Girardi's second divorce, so prior to marrying Erica. The attorney has been married 3 times, most recently, obviously, to Real Housewives star Erica. The investigation into his firm is led by the U.S. Attorney's Office in LA, and the agent in charge is Brian. Okay. I'm just repeating this because I'm trying to like make heads or tails. I apologize, guys.
Hold on, I'm Googling how old Don Alway is.
Oh, well, that's part of it. So, and get that, because here's the interesting thing. This is the real kicker. We got another kicker here. The guy leading the investigation into Tom is not the son, but he is the son's boss. Okay, I'm confused.
So the person who's leading the investigation is not Donald Alway. Donald Alway is the person who's in charge of that field office in LA, who just came in this year, right? So he was not he has not been part of the investigation, but now he is the boss of the person or overseeing the team who is looking it over, which honestly, if this was just an oversight from the FBI, like, wow, guys, this is...
So you're looking up his birth date. Basically, the timing coincides with the mom was married to the person who is listed on the birth certificate as Donald's father, although in later years, Donald changed his name to his stepfather's name. Another guy, not Tom. Now, here's the interesting thing. She was working for Tom at the time. They divorced right after the kid was born, Donald. And there are rumors that, I mean, well, it's plausible based on information that people are saying, is this guy a love child? Why such a close bond? Sure, it could be that he appreciates that he helped his mom and him financially, but it begs the question, which is possible, right? If the mom was just a girlfriend and he's not the son. But it begs the question, why did he help him so much financially? I mean, this case is insane. It's almost like Tom groomed Michelle's son to be in law enforcement. And I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Departure, but Jack Nicholson groomed Mark Wahlberg. And like, it's totally reminding me of that.
I honestly, we've got to dig in more to this because, yes, I agree. I think at the very least what this tells us is, I mean, Tom Girardi is clearly, I mean, the fact that he had a different partner but Tom was paying the mortgage. I mean, there are just layers upon layers, and I will not be surprised if we find other children, other girlfriends. I mean, Erica even said it, right? That that he had bought a house for somebody, for one of the people he had an affair with in Palm Springs that she wasn't even allowed to go into. And again, yeah, the Carmel, I don't know why I didn't pick that up, but that is extremely, extremely, extremely expensive real estate. So that's shocking to me. It's
I
looking
also
like
want
he's
us
in
to look into why it's valued at only 1.2 and what's
I know.
about?
There's something weird about that. So I found somebody who could be him.
I think he was born in the late 60s, 69.
56 years old. Yeah, which would be 60s. Yeah. So who knows? Who knows? This is, I mean,
Wild.
Everyone, we got to keep digging into this. And yeah, I want to look into this house because I don't believe for a minute that you can even buy a postage stamp for 1.2 million in Carmel. Honestly. Right? Yeah. Okay. So let's see here. All right. Let's move on, because the other thing I've been kind of laughing about is, here we go again with the Chicago and Winnetka housewife show talk. You know, we kept thinking we were going to hear about some new housewife shows being announced at BravoCon, but we were definitely admittedly wrong on that one. So now we're hearing about Chicago and Winnetka again. And then we got an email saying that maybe throwing out not a source, but an email saying maybe Meredith's sister is a possibility.
Honestly, I mean, the info about this alleged show, apparently women were filming and production stopped and they have not heard back. So, I mean, people want Chicago. I guess that's the overarching theme. And we got an email last week about how Bravo pays attention to, fan accounts and podcasts. And so, guys, like, if you're paying attention, You know, people want freaking Chicago. They're even willing to take Winnetka. Okay, so make it happen.
I agree. And I think honestly, guys, like what's stopping them really from trying another show? And I was reading the schedule. We got another email about which was didn't have a ton of new information just about schedule for Bravo and for Peacock. And it was essentially saying like we're not going to have anything new except for $1 million listing this for the rest of this year. So no new show premieres except for that. And then we've got OC and then Jersey, in the spring or in the early year,
February.
beginning of the year or in the spring. And I'm like, why can't, come on, can we put together another show here? Like the winter is long and the nights are dark and we need some more Bravo.
Right?
What's like, how hard is it? I mean, I'm sure too on an early season, like it can't be very expensive. And I don't know.
Well, the next girls' trip's got to be coming out soon. It must be after the new year, though.
Well, this one
Unless
was
that's
about
on
Bravo,
Peacock.
so maybe not
Right, right.
Peacock. Yeah, let's hope. My God, but I don't know. I do think there's some sort of we know something happened. I could actually see because Winnetka is a really close-in suburb, and a lot of people are back and forth. So I could see a Winnetka, Chicago, like women from both
Hmm.
filming. It would be no different than Salt Lake City, where some of the women live in actual Salt Lake City, and some of the women live in Park City, which is 40 minutes to an hour away, depending, like, if traffic's really bad. So I don't
Right.
know. Another week of these rumors. So, I think we'll see. But Bravo, if you're listening, what's the harm? Let's try it. If it's feeling like it could be a good show, give it to us, please. And
Let's
thank
do it.
you. Okay, so the girls' trip emails, I mean, like I said, hilarious. A lot of them are kind of bogus, which we laughed about last week, which loving the use of the sloth emoji. But we are hearing kind of that one of them does seem to be a winner. So remember last week, we're like, wait a second, wasn't there one about ex-wives and current wives from same cities? So we heard from a source saying that there is something to that content, to that idea, and that they loved the reaction to the recent girls trip cast and plan to continue to highlight some of those women along with some new but old favorites. So expect more of the ex-wives than new on season 4. It will be filmed overseas and details plus contracts are currently being worked on.
And we posted this actually today, and already I see people like posting casts. I can tell you that this source would not give me casts because they said contracts are being signed. They said Tuesday, so next week, which leads you to believe that they could like over like right now could still be deciding who they're going to really give the offer to. So
Yeah. Yeah, and if
I love
money,
the ex-wives. I think it'll be so funny to have with current, especially from the same city. We'll get a lot of drama.
I totally agree. So what about the do you wanna read that Bravoland email that you texted me thinking it was so funny?
I can't. This person
I
really was pulling our chain. So, subject Bravo Land. An idea has been floating around of doing an Ultimate Girls Trip style show. And let's say the Mount Rushmore of housewives. Since some may never work with Bravo again, it could be on a completely different platform. It's still in early stages because the ones still on Bravo might not be allowed to do it. Lisa Vanderpump, Nene, Bethany, Teresa, Vicky, Ramona, and maybe a couple others. This sounds like somebody was drinking some Prosecco and wrote me some bullshit.
Okay, Bethany, we hear you. Wasn't it her that said that she's one of the Mount Rushmore housewives?
Oh my God, imagine this was
Wasn't it?
Bethany. Or maybe someone
Bethany.
saw her say that and came up with this far fetched idea.
Maybe
First of all,
Bethany had a few too many skinny girl margs and was like, "I'm gonna write Bravo and cocktails and email."
Teresa is not going to be allowed. Any current housewife is not going to be allowed to go with Nene. I mean, Nene's suing the network, or was, or is again, or whatever. So come on.
I think anybody who makes a step like that out of the network would be very either sure that they can never come back or know that if they do that, that they can, be comfortable with the fact that they could probably never come back to Bravo. Cause I don't know. But If there is any truth to this and anyone does pull this off, I mean, you and I won't be laughing anymore. We'll be watching. It would be great TV. So I say game on. If someone can make this happen,
Oh, I
it's
agree. I
let's
agree.
do it.
So there was some Salt Lake City drama the last couple days, and it was like online drama, right? So Lisa Barlow is claiming she recently found out that Whitney invited a man she thought Lisa had an affair with to the season 2 finale party. And Lisa is claiming that all of the ladies were in on it. Lisa, of course, denies having an affair. Her and Meredith were going at it on Twitter. Meredith, like the way Meredith was wording it was very clever and cute. Like Meredith said, I did not know that this was a guy that you had an affair with. And Lisa's like, there was no affair. It was a rumor. So Meredith isn't calling them rumors. So Meredith's like, I didn't know about this until we were filming season 3. Lisa points out that Whitney started this rumor and she knew about it at the season. So this is Lisa's claim, is that Whitney knew about it. She started the rumor and they all knew about it at the season 2 wrap party. And if you remember, Lisa was very much ostracized and she claims they were all in on it.
Was that a beauty lab party? I'm trying to remember what that party
that was the
was. Like a
first one. I forget.
picture
I
in my
honestly
head.
forgot. I remember Lisa in the dress and like her and Meredith fighting and everyone kind of shunning
Yeah.
Lisa. I think all but Meredith may have been on it. If we remember, Meredith in season 3, Meredith is seeming to delight in these rumors. But the hot mic moment, she wasn't aware of at the time of the wrap party.
Right.
Remember, she didn't know
Right.
about that until it aired. So she wouldn't have had that
she thought they were
motivation
still
at the
friends.
time. And although she was clearly annoyed with Lisa at the wrap party, it's not how she was now after the hot mic moment where she really, she did bring up the rumors of sexual favors for Vita placement on camera. I mean, Meredith brought that up, but that was after the hot mic moment. So I do think there's a world in which the Whitney part is true and the other women being in on it is true, but I think Meredith is being truthful that she was not.
Yeah. Well, and I think, because at that time, Meredith, I think, thought she and Lisa were just in more of a tiff kind of situation, not a friendship ending argument, because she hadn't heard what Lisa had said. So I don't know. I was watching Salt Lake and I'm just loving that show. Like there were some great moments this week. like where Whitney and well, not yet Whitney, but where Heather and Lisa are like trying to whisper over the warm ups for the choir. The choir's getting louder and they're getting louder and like everyone's looking and I'm like, I mean, and like stepping a foot away, like that the producers are like, keep going. This is hilarious. Do it. But it made for such great TV. So, I mean, there's, just even the music where it sounds like a choir, which is different from any of the other Housewives show. I just think it's so good. So we saw in the preview, which I'm sorry, I think one of my favorite things in Housewives anything is the mid-season trailer. It's always so good, right?
So good.
So back in the day, like I don't really watch The Bachelor anymore, but like that first season when it's like this season on The Bachelor, like that was always like one of the best trailers too. So anyway, in the mid-season trailer, we see that there is this conversation about crowdfunding that they show a text on the screen. And so if you pause it, it's exactly the email that we posted. I wonder if they got it from us. What do you think?
I wonder if they sent it to us.
Or if they sent it to us. Yeah, that could be. Don't forget that after we got that, I was like, I want to know more about this. So we did a Lisa Barlow deep dive rabbit hole on episode 21. If you haven't listed, we'll post a link to it, but maybe listen before you watch next week's. I think I'm going to again as well, just so that I can kind of have a better understanding. So that we didn't find anything like super crazy. We just found that there's been a lot of businesses, a lot of LLCs. We did find the SEC filings. Again, not that weird to do, but it definitely makes you question why somebody would give up a significant amount of ownership for $25,000 that's crowdfunded. But anyway, what did you think? You watch the show?
I watched it. agree with you on the mid-season trailer. I I mean, I thought stop trying to make the Salt Lake City husbands happen. Individually they're all okay, but stop putting them in a room together and expecting that Jersey energy. It's so awkward.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
I
so
liked what
awkward.
Coach did though. Like again,
I
it just
know.
I liked that he got everyone together and, was telling, but again, what I thought was so strange too, right? And those husbands have always been kind of good, but even Seth, before, he was like, oh, this is so great. Coach is doing this barbecue and he's doing his interview. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, how are you so like also just jumping on this bandwagon when you had just a year ago been, accusing Jen and her family of doing, Jen doing this stuff to you. I don't
Right.
know. It does feel a little bit forced. And I feel like that whole makeup scene between him and John, what was that? Would you walk out of that feeling like you had resolved if you
It was
had that
production,
conversation?
like, you guys have to have this conversation, and they're just faking the funk. They don't actually like each other at this point. Their wives have such a contentious situation that it's done, but they're filming a show together. You know what I also feel like we haven't spoke about, and I want to mention, like, how
What?
proud are we of Heather and her expanding business?
That new facility
And
looks
I also want
amazing.
to note that, like, I haven't heard any of the ladies congratulate her in any capacity.
That's such a good point. I mean,
And, like,
maybe
maybe
it's
that's why
happened.
she's mad at Whitney. Like, I understand Whitney is having a tough time in her life because Justin was let go from his job. And clearly, the Whitney Rose creams are not selling that well because she doesn't really mention them. But, like, I don't know. Why not support your family, your friends? I don't know. But I'm so proud of her. I think it's incredible, that huge facility. It's great.
Yeah, I know. It is daunting too when you see them go into the new location with the hard hat. I'm like, that takes some bucks
Right.
to
And,
do a
like,
huge build out like that. That's huge.
it's huge. And she says, she's like, I am running a business. I am opening a huge second location. And these women are calling me and wanting me to talk about nonsense. Like,
Yeah. She lost
it's
her father
right.
too. I mean, yeah, it's her daughter went away to college, which to me would be a hugely traumatic feeling, right? To like have one of your children not there all the time. Like I
Right.
mean, it's been a big year for her. I agree. And yeah, it is strange. And maybe this is happening all on camera and they just haven't shown it, but I definitely think there's one of the seven deadly sins happening of jealousy when
For
it comes
sure.
to her business.
Absolutely. I mean, because in the face of it, you have poor Jen. I mean, Jen's situation is dire. And I know I shouldn't say poor Jen, and you're going to be like, poor Jen. I just mean it's hard not to. I mean, come on, she's got two kids, and then you have Lisa, who I'm not saying that there's any issue with her business, but obviously it's being critiqued on the
Mhm.
show. We're going to see that soon. And then you have, of course, Whitney's, not doing well because her husband was let go. So, like, I don't know. You know what? It'd be nice to see maybe a third of the applause when someone's successful as we see when someone's failing.
Yeah.
Like they love to shine a light on failure, these friends, but let's celebrate the success, guys.
Yeah. That's how you know who the real ones are.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I am very excited for us together to be able to announce that
We're having a baby.
we a baby called Cocktail Party, and you're
Yes.
invited. Santa and Santa's elves have been very hard at work getting this membership site ready, and we are launching it. So as of when this podcast is launched, assuming everything goes well, we will be launched. We are so excited to
Knock
share
on
about
wood.
this. Yeah, knock on wood, everybody, and your heads, anything.
You guys can go right now and you can join at bravoandcocktails.com/join,
Yep.
JOIN.
Yep. And what's cool is we've been really working hard to preload it with content because we'll be continuing to do so, very frequently, just like we have with the website, but we are preloading it with content. So there's already some great stuff to get into right away for anyone who joins as of this week. So included in the membership will be access to the regular blog without either all of the ads or most of the ads. We're still working on that. There's some technical stuff, but the level of ads will not be there for members on just the regular website blog. You'll also get the regular podcast. So both it'll be ad free and you'll also get it early. So sometimes if we don't get our shit together, it might be raw and unedited. So you might just hear us like stopping to get like a cocktail refill or hear us go off on like on a rant that we would cut out of the normal pod. I mean, it's if only you guys could hear some of our conversations.
Oh God, that makes me nervous. But like real cocktailers, I think they'll enjoy our psychotic rants.
Or us being like, oh my God, the kids somehow broke through my 3 locks that I have, the 3 doors that I have in between me and them.
Right? Oh my gosh.
You will also get an extra episode. So we're calling it like a mini podcast because it won't be an hour, but this is where we have like the really, really exclusive content every week. So one of my favorites, which is actually one we just loaded today, is the story about how B went to Sonia's townhouse. So that's definitely one that you're not going to want to miss. We'll have an exclusive blog for members only. So we will post stuff that we can't post or don't want to post for whatever reason on the regular site, plus some like fun stuff. So some behind the scenes content. We'll maybe show you guys some screenshots of the text between us and some behind the scenes kind of stuff. And then we'll have a community. So cocktailers can, put up their own posts and interact with each other as well. And then we'll be doing a monthly Zoom with both B and I. So we're super excited. And then all of this you'll get for $7.50 a month, which is, I was horrified when I looked at my Starbucks bill yesterday because I paid more than $7.50 for my triple. I needed an extra shot yesterday for my triple blonde espresso with oat milk latte yesterday. So just think about it as that, right? It's less than a coffee, but also for a limited time because we really want to reward you guys that have been with us since the beginning. We're going to do a discount code that will get you all of that for $5 a month. So as long as you stay a member, your price will stay at $5 a month. And that code is Charter Member, which is all caps. So all caps, CHARTERMEMBER. So go to bravoandcocktails.com/join and use code Charter Member to join our cocktail party. And you'll also see it in like the website navigation. You just can't see it right now because we have it hidden. So we are super ready. And the other thing, go ahead.
I was going to say, and should we tell them about this week's cocktail party podcast?
Yes.
We have some extra juicy stuff about some Southern Bravo stars. We can't share it here, so you're going to have to join to hear that. And to Amanda's point, we did preload stuff, but right now, because it hasn't been live, it is right now, as I get stuff, I'm choosing to just put stuff on Cocktail Party. So there will be stuff that you're only going to see if you're in the cocktail party, guys.
Yes. And thank you, B, especially, but thank everybody for your patience because adding this piece to our existing website Santa and their elves have been real busy.
Oh, yeah. And thank you, Amanda, because it's been a lot of work. The time of the email you sent me last night was ungodly.
I mean, sometimes when you just get on, I'm a diamond. I work best under pressure.
I like that.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to another great episode. B, it's been super fun.
Till next time.
thank you guys so much for listening. Just want to ask you guys a favor, just getting kicked off. So many people have been asking us to do this podcast. So please do subscribe. And if you've subscribed, go to your podcast app and hit those 3 little dots to share with your friends, but only friends who like good tea, because the ones who don't care about tea, then like forget them. And don't forget, find us on Instagram at bravoandcocktails_, and check out the website because some great tea gets put there daily that would get us kicked off of Instagram. So thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye, guys. See you next time.